What's up, guys, and welcome to the Heroic Kor'kron Dark Shaman Raid Guide. As always, if you want to see any of the normal mode abilities or the normal mode guide itself, go ahead and check that out on my Siege of Orgrimmar playlist. Otherwise, keep watching, as what we're going to be covering is only really the differences between normal mode and heroic. And in this fight, there actually are quite a few. The premise of the fight, though, remains the same, of controlling your environment and controlling where things are dropped so that your raid doesn't have to make quick, bad maneuvers. So this is very much a positioning fight, especially in heroic mode, and I'll get right into that. As you can see on the pull, what we're going to be doing is stacking everything up and just trying to AoE those dogs down as fast as possible. Again, the dogs, the longer they are alive, they will put a stacking bleed on your tank, and that just hits like a truck. So killing those is essential. You need to do that ASAP. Once the dogs are dead, we pretty much try to do it so that we would get the couple of tornadoes and then split them apart. And what we did once we split apart was we had our melee go to the top of the ramp, and then we had our range that you'll see on my side of the video kind of hanging out around the main entrance where you initially pull from. Now, what you're really doing in this fight, whether you're melee or ranged, is you're really focusing on positioning the mechanics that you have to deal with, okay? So the melee have to deal with the walls and all those totems, whereas the range has to deal with the tornadoes and the foul slime ads. So what you need to understand is that how the ads work for the range is they pretty much spawn out of the boss, but if you're AoEing on top of them, when they die, they explode. That's why melee doesn't really mess with them, is because they have to be right up in there, whereas range can kind of hit them from a distance and stay out of that explosion damage, and that's really the key part to this, to dealing with the slimes. Also, the range need to understand that dropping, and the melee, that dropping the tornadoes outside of the path of where you're going, or the walls outside of the path of where you're going. So what you need to understand is where you're moving the boss. Make sure that the raid understands how you're going to be moving as a tank and how the raid is going to be moving around the room, so that way you're not positioning yourself in a place that's going to spawn iron tombs or tornadoes in a bad spot. There is the iron tomb thing. Again, you'll see clouds underneath your feet. Don't stand there. It will kill you if you stand in it. So don't do that. Also, you can get a debuff on you that lasts 1 minute. And this iron debuff, what this does is at the end of the minute, it will pretty much hit you for 100% of your life. So what you need to do is just pop a cooldown. You can pretty much pop any cooldown and you'll be okay. Temporal Shield, which is only a 15% damage reduction for mages, works fine, only brings me down to about 30-40% health. Again, like most of these fights, guys, these are combination damage fights. So if you're taking ticking damage from a tornado, you can only last about 2 or 3 ticks in that tornado before it kills you. The Iron Tomb will pretty much kill you. If it doesn't kill you instantly, the second time it will. And then obviously the slimes, you don't want to be near them when they explode. So combine any of those damages and you will. The other thing that you have to worry about, obviously, is meteors coming down and hitting. Those do hit rather hard, especially as the fight progresses. So making sure that you're helping your healers out as much as you can by popping a personal cooldown as that meteor is going to hit the ground is also very nice to help the healers out. But again, your main thing is positioning of the room, where you're dropping the tornadoes, where you're dropping the walls, where you're dropping the totems, anything like that. You need even the iron tombs, because they spawn under players. So understanding that your positioning as a raid is the key to this fight. The DPS timer is a little bit strict, but again, at 25%, when they pop Lust, you can pretty much pop Lust Enter at 20%, and you should be able to get the fight down. But the biggest thing is, again, keeping everybody up and in the right position. This fight is extremely kind of flow oriented. As soon as your raid kind of gets used to, okay, well, let's, if we do it here, we drop it here, okay, well, at this percentage, they're about here, so we can run back here, and then we can run where this thing went. As you'll see in this raid, or in this kill video, we got to the point where after the meteor would hit, we would run to where that meteor was, and then make sure that we were utilizing that part of the room as well, because we wanted to make sure that we utilize the entire room to leave us as much room as we could to DPS ads, and to make sure that the tanks had a clear path to kite the bosses around the room. So these are a few little tips and tricks that, again, I hope help you get through this fight. This fight is a really good fight, and once you get that figured out, you will really enjoy this one. Go ahead and watch the rest of this kill video. Hope it helps. As always, see you in the next one.
Remember the dream? I haven't.